recently I have received many requests to make a video discussing the differences between monitoring and evaluation. So this video will help you to deeper understand the differences between these two components. Monitoring and evaluation as the key activity for the project. So today we will discuss the differences between these two key activities. There's many ways that you can describe the differences among these two, but for today's video I will emphasize only 6 points. As you can see over here, first of all, I will discuss on the question need to be answered through each activity. Second, key focus that each activity will be focused on. Third, the purpose of each activity. Fourth, the timeline or frequency of each activity. Fifth, gonna be the source of the data. And last point is the resource or people gonna be involved in each activity. Before moving further, for those who haven't subscribed my channel yet, please have to subscribe my channel. Then you will frequently get my new video whenever I post it on my YouTube channel. Thank you very much, guys. Now let's move to the key topic today. First of all, we will discuss on the key question that need to be answered for each activity. Now let's look at the monitoring activity. In the monitoring, probably you have many questions to be answered by the monitoring activity, but for this video I just brought up only three key questions, which is include, are we making the progress? So in this question, we would like to know whether we are making the progress against our annual operational plan. So at the beginning of the year, we are designing the annual operational plan, and then we implement it, the activity accordingly. So then from month to month, quarter to quarter, we need to track that. We need to monitor that progress, whether we're making any progress against those activities. Be clear here, when I say progress, I'm not talking about the progress of the change or the progress of outcomes or impact, just only the progress of activity implementation. Question number 2, what have been achieved? Here we are looking only the achievement of the outputs. We just look at whether we have been able to achieve the output or not. So through the operational plan, we set a list of activity along with the key outputs there. So we monitor whether we achieve those output or not. Last, we also look at the lesson learned that we have learned from quarter to quarter. So I believe if you guys experience writing donor report or quarterly report, from quarter to quarter we always mentions about the challenges and some lesson learned that we have learned from previous quarter, and try to adjust our activity or intervention based on those challenges and lesson learned. So here, that's the key. That's what we would like to get from the monitoring activity. Then we can learn from it and then apply differently in the following quarter. So now look at the questions for the project evaluation. In the project evaluation, mainly what we would like to know, also I have 3 questions here. Again, you might have more than 3, that's fine, but this video I just focus only 3 questions again. The first question is what have been the overall change that project have made. So here we're focusing on changes. If you don't know about what is the change, look at my video about the 3-year change. I discuss the changes. So the change here refers to outcomes and impact. So here meaning that we're looking for what sort of outcomes and impacts has been produced through the project intervention or have contributed by the project. Second question, have we done the right thing? So we look at in overall project, are we doing the right thing? Are we in the right track? That's kind of this question. Are we? So what does it mean by doing the right things? It's just meaning that if we, for example, that here mainly just we would like to look at whether our intervention is the right intervention. Okay. For example, the overall project goal is to strengthen the primary teachers' capacity, and then our key intervention is providing training and providing training and study tool to the primary school teachers. Then through the project intervention, we would like to know whether we are doing the right intervention. Is our intervention effective? So that's kind of key question that we would like to learn from, we would like to capture, we would like to be answered through the project evaluation. Next one, how can it be done in a better way? So again, that's about that we learn from that project. How can we improve our intervention? So this is just for the next project or next proposal. We might end up after in the midterm evaluation. Then we conduct that. We would like to learn, and then we can adjust our strategy for another halfway after project implementation or for the next proposal grant. So in summary, I have 3 questions for project monitoring and also 3 key questions for the project evaluation. So these are key questions that make these 2 activities significantly different, as you can tell from my explanation here. So next is about the key focus. So the key focus here, it is significantly associated with the questions above. So like you can see here in the monitoring side, since the question is more focusing on the progress and achievement of the output, therefore the key focus that we will look at just only inputs, activities, outputs, and somehow we also look at the outcomes. Learn also, we also here the key focus also we focus on we will also look at the risks and assumptions that have been made during the proposal development. Somehow during the proposal development we develop a lot of assumptions. We anticipated some risks will be occur, so that from month to month, from quarter to quarter, we also would like to monitor those kind of risks and assumptions. Make sure that we what we have anticipated, what we so we just monitor those risks and assumptions along the way. Then we can adjust our interventions. So in conclusion, the key focus for the monitoring will be we will monitor the inputs. I have another video about talking about the project monitoring. So what we monitor the output inputs. Just look at our resource. Do we have adequate resource? Do we have where from quarter to quarter? Do we have enough resource? Are we out of the resource right now? Budget or materials? So just look at it carefully. Then we can reserve or plan it very well. Activity, we will look at the achievement of activity like I mentioned earlier on the progress. Outputs, achievement of the outputs, and risk assumption, I already mentioned that. And outcomes, here I highlight it. Just some organizations, they include in the monitoring, they embedded in the monitoring activity. Keep it just a routine because there's some possible way that we can collect it through the project activity, but mostly it will be go through the evaluation. Now look at the evaluation. So since the monitoring more focusing on the inputs, activities and outputs, and in the evaluation it is focusing more on the outcomes and impacts, which is another term we said that effectiveness of the project. So in effectiveness of the project, we are looking at the project outcomes and impacts, like I discussed earlier. And the same thing also about the relevant. I mentioned also, are we doing the right thing? You're talking about the relevant and efficiency there. How we utilize our resource, whether it is efficiency in terms of using our resource or not. So those kind of things that when we conduct the project evaluation, we would like to look at it, or we would pay attention on it. Okay, next one, the purpose of this evaluation. So like we already discussed on the questions and key focus, I think you have some ideas about the purpose. So in the monitoring, the purpose mainly we would like to track the data, tracking the progress, tracking and demonstrating the progress of activity or outputs. So that's the main purpose of project monitoring. While for the project evaluation, the main purpose is to assess the overall achievement, or to assess how we have achieved a certain thing. So that's the main purpose of project evaluation. Now you can see here, they're significantly different, right? Next one is about the frequency. In the monitoring, in the project monitoring, it is ongoing activity. So this kind of routine activity, collecting data, tracking data, demonstrating the progress, we're doing it every day, every month, every quarter. So it's ongoing activity. However, for the project evaluation, we're doing periodically, meaning that we're only doing it once a while. For example, like when we talking about project evaluation, you might think about, many of you think about the project final evaluation, which is we are doing only at the end of the project, right? But some project, which is a longer project, a 3 to 5 years project, they also have a midterm review. That is just only doing, we just only do that at the middle of the project life cycle, at the middle of project life. So project evaluation, we don't do it very often. We just do it 1 or 2 times during the project. Sometimes we might do only during the, just only for during the training, only that particular training that we have assessment, probably pre and post test, also part of project evaluation. We just would like to see the, why I call this project evaluation, because as part of activity evaluation, not overall project evaluation, but it's part of one of your activity evaluation, because you would like to see the changes of participant knowledge through the pre and post test training evaluation, right? And some organizations, they might conduct a regular, a quarterly evaluation with their final beneficiary. Just go down to the field and collect some data which respond to their outcomes, in their outcomes indicator. Probably they do it every 6 months, a survey there, part of their survey or part of their quality control, quality assessment. Some of you been involved in agriculture project. Some of you have been involved in agricultural project, which involve in changing farmers' practice. You might need to conduct a lot of quality check. Just would like to see how the farmers have changed their practice from one to another semester. So that's kind of project evaluation that you just do it like maybe every quarter or every 6 months. So that's the frequency of each activity. You can see that. But for the monitoring, you will do it every day, right? Just every day, whenever we have activity, we just collect the data, those kind of things that we call it monitoring. Next one, we're talking about the data. I said it's the data source. For the monitoring, the data source mainly just relies on the project data. Right? If you would like to see the progress of activity, mainly you just focus on look at the activity report. You want to know how many activity conducted. It will be depend on the activity report, right? You look at that the project data. You would like to know how many people have been reached through your intervention in the previous 6 months or in this quarter. You will look at the list, the attendance list that you have been collected in this quarter, and then you just make the data analysis. Then you can interpret the data, demonstrating your progress against the output. Now, if you look at the source of the data for project evaluation, it will be more focusing on or relying on the survey. We have to conduct a survey. We have to conduct a survey, like I mentioned earlier. We need to go down to the field to meet our target groups or relevant stakeholders to get some data, to respond to our outcomes indicators, or to track our outcomes indicators. So then it will be from the surveys, or might be from the secondary data, like some outcomes or impacts which project could not conduct it. Some source of data, since it is available in another source or national data, project doesn't need to conduct it. Just use that source of data. Then we can evaluate our achievement. We can evaluate our overall changes. In conclusion, the source of evaluation are from survey and secondary data. Last one is about resource. So who else involved in project monitoring? In general, everyone in the project must involved in project monitoring. Each staff might take different parts of project monitoring. Since this is about looking at the progress of activity, this should be done by project staff. So this is not, again, some people get confused on here. They just confuse that monitoring is for monitoring and evaluation staff. No, that is misunderstanding. So project monitoring is for everyone, especially for project manager, program manager. Why? Because you need to know clearly how your activity has been progressed. You need to know clearly what sort of output have been achieved and what sort of output have not been able to achieve in this quarter. So that should be your obligation to know that as a project manager or program manager. It is not an obligation alone to do monitoring. So everyone involved in monitoring activity. However, for evaluation, this mostly should be conducted by external consultant. But also, some activity, some surveys could be done by our staff. If our staff is well trained on research methodology, on research ethics. Since this is about collecting data and making a conclusion how we have done certain things, what overall change have been achieved through our project, this need to be transparent. This data need to be transparent or accountable to the donor. That's why very often this activity has been conducted by external consultant, because donor trust external consultant than internal staff. However, here internal staff also can do it, like I said earlier. It doesn't mean that this have to be done by external consultant. Internal, we also can do it internally if donor agree that these things can be done by internal resource, right? So in summary, here you can see like there are 6 points that make these two key activities are different. Although these key activities always stay together, we always say project monitoring and evaluations, but they are significantly different. Thanks for watching this video. If you have any comments or feedback on my explanation here, please feel free to drop your comments or feedbacks on the comment box. I love to hear what you think about my explanation today. Once again, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel. Then you can get a new video from me whenever I post it on my YouTube channel. Also, if you have any suggestions, new video or questions you want to be answered, please let me know. Then I will make the video, a short video like this, to answer your questions, like this one.